Joined now by the head coach over at Winnfield here on Coach's Corner, Jay Watson. Jay, thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you for having me.
The first question we always ask our coaching guests is, how would you describe your coaching philosophy?
I'm more of a physical coach. I played offensive line, defensive line, so I love to run the football. And, if we can get the game over in time for everybody to get home and catch the news at night, that was a successful night.
Hey, and you're always watching fifth quarter here on KLV, hopefully, of course. I know you coached at Winnfield kind of in the past, made your stops around, and then eventually came back and been the head coach, and you're entering, I believe, your fifth year. How could you kind of describe your coaching, your journey, and to where you are now, and kind of reflecting back on it? How do you think it's kind of impacted your life?
Oh, shoot. I tell you, I was fortunate enough to play for Coach Pender whenever I was in high school at Jonesboro Hodge in the late 80s. And we formed a bond there, and I started working for him in 1998. And I worked with Coach Pender for about 19 years. And a lot of the philosophies that I have in football, of course, I've been around him since I was 13 years old. So um, I, I try to emulate the person that he is, especially when dealing with kids. That's the one thing I feel like that I learned in the past from the coaches that I've worked with, Al Simmons, Mike Beatty, those guys throughout my years, is how to interact with people. Not so much the X's and O's of the game, but definitely like the physicality and the style of football that we've had, throughout the last 20 years.
What are some of the life lessons you try to pass on to your kids who come in through the years, maybe outside of the X's and O's sort of thing? So when they go on to become, go on to their lives, things that they can learn from you.
Well, truthfully, just the game of football in general, um, you get knocked down every play. Seems like you have to get back up off the ground. And whether you're successful on the play or not, you learn to get up off the ground. And I tell our kids all the time, life's going to deal you misery as you get older. At some point in time in your life, you're going to get hit right between the eyes with life. And how you learn to deal with it now um, makes you a better person and how to deal with situations.
Going into your Winnfield team so far this year, I know you guys are on a 2-1 start to the year. You fell last week, but two really impressive performances, especially from your defense. How would you kind of evaluate how the first 3 weeks have gone for you guys this season?
Tell you what, our defense going in, we knew our defense was going to be the strength of our team. We had several of those guys coming back. Felt like our linebackers could play. Felt like our secondary coming back with experience was going to be one of our bright spots. What's been a shock to me, not a shock, but a pleasant surprise, is how well our defensive front has played. We're a little undersized, but they're gritty. We moved Jeremy Mammon from defensive end, outside linebacker, moved him down to play inside interior. He's gained a lot of weight this year. He's about 235 pounds, where last year he was playing at 205. So he's a really strong kid. I think he's got a chance to play at the next level. He's been a force for us inside. He's been hard to block for teams.
Diving into the matchup this week against Jena, I'm just finding out this is the rivalry is called the War for 84. Can you kind of go in depth on kind of what this rivalry means and kind of some background of it that you know?
Well, if you ask some of the local historians here in town, Jena and Winnfield never was really a rivalry till Coach Pender came to Winnfield. He was one of the coaches that lost to Winnfield a couple times early in his career, then kind of flipped it around and had some success against Jena. But in joking, they say that he started the rivalry. It was never a rivalry until Coach got here. But I can tell you that both communities love to show up for this game. There's no love loss. There's no love lost at all between Jena and Winnfield. I can remember one year we were pretty good and they were not real good, and it was week 9 or 10, and we played at Jena, and it hadn't rained in 3 weeks. We got over there, and the sideline and the coaching box was just, I'm talking about soaking wet.
Yep.
So wet, in fact, that we had to wear boots in the coaching box. So there's no love lost, I can promise you. There was dust at the numbers and mud in the coaching box.
I know Jena has kind of maybe one of the best teams in Class 3A right now. They're coming off a loss similar to you guys this past week. When you look into that matchup this week, kind of what excites you, and what's it going to take for your team to go on the road and get a big rivalry win?
Well, be honest with you, we just have to match their physicality. I know a lot of people are saying, Gena's down from last year. They lost a lot of seniors. That's not the fact. I believe that Coach Roark and his staff have done an excellent job building a program, not just a team. And they have the numbers that when they, lose a big class, they have more kids that have bought into the program, the work ethic. I, there's no drop off what I see on film. I know they lost the real good running back from last year, but these backs that they have right now hit it just as hard. I watched film this weekend, the offensive line, good stances, the roll off the football, just physical Jena football team. And it's going to take a whale of a game for us to be competitive and have a chance to win it.
What are some ways you think your team can get even better going into this week and beyond? I know we've talked about the defense. Maybe if some things in the offense that we can watch out for, the things that can rise and get better as the season goes on.
We have to cut out our mental mistakes. We've been creating too many penalties, costly turnovers. Last week versus West Washita, we gained, some key first downs and had them called back from holding calls and whatnot. We got to cut those out and be more efficient with the football.
And then lastly, what is your favorite individual part about coaching? And then what do you think kind of going forward you even want to improve yourself upon in the ways you can get better kind of as your career unfolds?
Well, like I said earlier, I love the personal relationships that you have formed with players throughout the years. I love seeing those guys come back and the smile on their faces, give you a hug, still call you coach after 20 years. That's the part that I've enjoyed the most about the coaching of football. And we look as individuals to improve every day, learn something, each and every day that can make us better as people and as coaches.
Awesome. We appreciate you talking to us, Jay, ahead of your big game or game of the week against the Jena Giants that you can watch this Friday. Have a great week and appreciate you joining us here on Coach's Corner.
Thank you.